Hi everyone, it's Michelle. I want to talk a little bit about lesson planning, teacher guides, uh, and curriculum. All right, so as a family child care provider, you are a teacher, and what you're going to be doing is you're not going to have the kids sit down and do worksheets and things like that. I am all about hands on learning, and so what I've done is I've created different bins for the different topics that I want to teach the children. And bins are great. You can go and at your local Target, Walmart, wherever you get your bins, and they don't have to be too big. Don't make them too small, but you want to have enough space so that you can put things in. And I have bins like for shapes and colors. I have been for numbers. I have bins for dinosaurs. And I also have one for kitchen and food. I have a bin even for fabric. I have one for fairy tales, and I have two bins for letters. And I have a whole host of other bins as well. I just brought out a few because it's a great way to get started in teaching children. All right, and so my background is in teaching, so I do know how to create lesson plans and things like that, but you don't have to create a formal plan. What you can do is you can have a topic that you want to teach about, or introduce the children to, or perhaps you're working on your numbers or your letters or your colors and you want to reinforce a lot of what you've been teaching. And so I just want to let you know and show you what's in my bins. And so a lot of times I'll take my bins out, and these are not specifically for the children. These are for you so that you can see if you write colors. Let's say you're writing out your plans and you put colors. You're going to pull out your color bin and see what you have in there, and then that will kind of draw your memory a little bit and to think, oh, okay, I can do this or I can do that in teaching colors and shapes. And so what I have in here in my colors and shapes is I'll have a file folder where I use hands with colors in it. And what you do is you match, let's say pink, you match the pink to the pink, and you put the file folder is usually flat, and so the kids can do that. I have books that I really love, Meet the Colors, and these books are pop-up books. And so this one is Meet the Shapes, and you can see the shape here, and it shows you even what something they may see on the street, like the fire truck is shaped like a rectangle there. Okay. And then I have my geoboards, and the geoboards are great for making shapes with the rubber bands. And then you have on one side you have the pegs, so to speak, that are sticking out, and they can make all kinds of shapes. And then on the other side is a circle, and so you can also do lots of shapes and things like that. The children love those, and be careful of those children who are working with rubber bands, and let them know what the rules are for working with rubber bands. I also have cards that have shapes on them, and so they can go over the different shapes. And you don't necessarily have to have a color or a number book. I have the book Planting a Rainbow, and Planting a Rainbow is very, very colorful, and it has the different colors in it for perhaps when you're gardening, what you may see, different colors. And so you may want to add some of those types of things to your bins. All right, so let's move on to a numbers bin. And in my numbers bin, I have a puzzle that they can pop these pieces out of and then put them back in as they name the numbers. You can create any type of game or anything that you want to do. I have animal counters, and the children love to count using the counters. And then I also have all types of cards and things. These are white ball cards. I teach my children how to count up to 50 and sometimes 100. And so these are cards that they can use to count the different objects on the cards. I even create a lot of games for them. This one, you have to put the numbers in order from 1 to 10, and it spells something. And I think it says I love you or something like that. And then of course I have another Meet the Numbers book, and I have a large pair of dice, and we play a game with the dice. Pick a card, and if the number 5 is on your card, and then you roll the dice, and then see if you can roll that number. And then I have magnetic numbers where they can use to play. And these are all types of symbols too, adding, subtracting, and equals and multiplication, depending on where your children are. You can set that up. And then I have a dot game where I call out a number and the children use their marker dot, I think it's called dot to dot markers, and they can put that dot on the number that I call. And you may recognize this from Chicka Chicka Boom Boom or Chicka Chicka Numbers, and those are favorite books for the children, and so I made sure I had a game for them. All right, let's come on over here to the Dinosaur bin. And in the Dinosaur bin, as you can see, I have lots of books. I have books where the children can actually touch to see what a sticky tongue might be for the dinosaur. I have books where it makes the noises of the different dinosaurs. Pop-up books, I love these. How did dinosaurs learn their colors? And so that's another way of reinforcing numbers, colors, things like that. There are all types of how do dinosaurs, and then it talks about how do they make friends, all things like that. But this is a great bin, and I pull this out, and everyone loves to dig with the dinosaur claw. You can actually have another bin, or I have a bin in here where I fill up with dirt, and I have fossils and things like that, and let the kids dig up to find fossils. Here's some more of the books. How did dinosaurs play with their friends? And so you can reinforce a lot of the things that you're teaching the children with these types of books. How did dinosaurs clean their rooms? And here are some tongs. What I do is I take my big bin, I put fish that I've created, and I have the kids fish for the fish using their tongs. Okay, so a lot of these bins are great for teaching them different things, but they're also great for reinforcing a lot of the skills that you want to teach them, whether it be procedural skills, whether it be from your rules, or it can also be for developing the different small motor skills, things like that, cognitive development. All those things are great. And what we did for one of our science activities is I ordered these Animal Planet eggs, and you put them in the water and watch them each day. And what we did was we took pictures of the eggs hatching, and when they hatch, you're going to get whatever the specific dinosaur is that they say on the box. And there's different ones. You can take a look at which dinosaurs you want to hatch, and it was really a great experience for the children to see. And then I have different rock. I have a whole thing where I set up a whole dinosaur area, and the children can play with the dinosaurs and create like a whole scene from the dinosaurs. And then this is the book that makes the noises, so they can press, okay, and they can hear the different dinosaurs. So the book is called Rumble with the Dinosaurs, and it's a really big one for the children. They love that. I actually have to create time for each child to read this book, because they really love it so much. 5 minutes for one person, and then it goes to the next person, but it's really great. All right, so let's move on to my kitchen and food bin. This is a big one as well. I have a pizza box that I got from my local pizza place, and I have a felt game where you can take the different type of food and put it down where it belongs on the felt board. So the children like those type of puzzles as well. And it also helps them to identify a lot of the foods that they eat or that they may not be familiar with. And then I have apron that says chef, the apron hats, and I have the lacing cards where they can lace different food. And I also have the different foods. Okay. And of course we have our kitchen, excuse me, our pretend zone where we have a kitchen set up already. And so a lot of times they wear their chef hats and things over there. And then I have a pretend pizza. And the kids put together different pizzas. And this is also a good math activity. You can teach them halves and whole. And if you take one away, what does that mean? It's also good for teaching adding, subtracting. And then we have our little knife and our pizza cutter. So that's a good way of learning as well. All right, and then I have my fabric clothes and my flower bin. We also have a really nice set of tools for gardening, which is something that I started with the children. Okay, and we have the things for watering the flowers. And when we were learning about different fabrics, I had cut up a lot of different pieces of fabric so that they could learn different textures and all that. We also have seeds, okay, where we get the different seeds. And then I have a bear where we dress the bear. What should the bear wear outside for gardening, things like that. You can also reinforce a lot of those things, and it sticks on there. And when you're gardening, you want to wear a hat. Okay, so you can do something like that. And here is my fairy tale, my writing, my different puzzles bin. And I have a big book, one of my big books, Baa Baa Black Sheep. I also have Jack and the Beanstalk. It's all different types of fairy tales. And I have a headband. I have a wand. We cut out pieces for it, just like the gingerbread man, the gingerbread boy. We cut out bears, and we created our own story for that. Okay. I read a story about the 3 little pigs and actually acted out the story with my pieces. So you can do a lot with that with the fairy tales. And then I have my letter bins. Now my letter bins, I have 2 of these. Like I said, we do a lot of reading, and to reinforce a lot of these things, I put in here my letter puzzle, and this actually speaks. And so when you pick up the letter A, it'll say letter A. You pick up the letter K, it says letter K. So that's a really good one. And then I have my sponge, sponge painters. And when you put your sponge in the paint and then you blot it on the paper, it'll make that letter. And then of course I have my chicka chicka boom boom tree, and I also have the felt letters. And so I have told stories about that using the tree. And then I have my eating the alphabet. So it doesn't necessarily just have to be these are the letters. You can have some other types of books as well. And my other letter bin, here's a pop-up book that when you look at the letter H, underneath it'll have a picture of a letter H, or maybe something that is associated with that letter. And then I have little readers for my sight word readers, another puzzle. Anybody who is writing, you can use a dry erase book and have them use the markers. The children love to use the markers, and have them start writing their letters. And then you can show pictures of different things and have them say what those pictures are. Another stamp type thing. And you can have also the different letters that they can peel and stick on. So there's a whole lot of things that you can do when you're teaching the children. And these bins are a really big help because they help you organize your materials and they also help you to come up with ideas for teaching your children. And those are the things that we want to do. We just don't want them sitting around and doing nothing. And remember, you are a teacher. And so these are some of the things that you can do. I've also introduced the bins to a lot of my parents, and they love them. They can just pull the bins out and start working with their children on the bins. And you can do any topic you want, any subject you want, anything. If you want to focus on like the dinosaurs, if you want to focus on numbers, you may want to focus on money, you may want to have a science bin. It's totally up to you. But I have found these to be very, very helpful. And it also gets you to like I said, jog some of the ideas in your mind so that you can write down some of these things that you're doing. And then before you know it, you will have a teacher guide or some plans so that you can work and help your children. So please leave me your comments below, like and subscribe. Tell me what you're doing as a family child care provider or as a parent working with your children, because we can all use some new ideas. Alrighty, take care.